Okay, welcome back. What we're going to do is we're going to work on the jump action. So we are going to need a jump action. This one's going to be similar. We're going to right click and we're going to do an input action. We're going to call this jump IA for input action. And then we're going to go ahead and save it. When we open it up, we really don't need to change anything. It's a digital bool, which is fine, so everything looks good. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go into the main mapping context. That is this file right here, main mapping context. So we're going to go into that. Up at mappings, we're going to go ahead and add a new mapping, go to drop down, and we're going to choose the jump action. And we're going to go ahead and open this up. We are going to select the key value. You can either do it by the drop down. What I'm going to do is hit that keyboard and hit my space bar and then click save. That is all we need to do. We don't need to add any triggers or any modifiers. So that is all good to go. So what we need to do now is we just need to go into the code. So we are in Paladin header file. And what we're going to do is create a input action. So down here, we're going to go ahead and copy the edit any. And we're going to go ahead and add it down there. And that's going to be a U input action. And we just need to call it an action, which I'm going to say jump action. And then go ahead and save the file. Now, what we also need to do is just go ahead and create the jump function, which is very simple. We just need to come down here, type in void, because with void we're not going to be returning anything, and we're just going to call this jump. And what we're going to do is go ahead and create or generate the definition for that. That says super jump. What that does is call parent class jump function. So let's just say call parent class jump function. And for the jump function, what we need to do is we need to get the character movement and is moving on ground. We need to check to make sure it's moving on ground. So we do an if statement and we do get character movement and is moving on ground. And if it is moving on the ground, then we get the current forward velocity. So get current forward velocity, and that is going to be an F vector forward velocity equals get velocity. And what we need to do is we need to ignore the z component of current velocity, so we're just going to zero that out, and we're going to say forward velocity dot z, and we're going to zero that. Then we need to define the jump vertical velocity. So let's say define jump vertical velocity, and that's going to be a float, and it's going to be a jump vertical velocity equals get character movement, and we need to get the jump z velocity. And then we need to combine the current forward velocity with the jump vertical velocity. So just say combine current forward velocity with jump vertical velocity. And that'll be good. So how we do that is we just do F vector jump velocity equals forward velocity plus, it's going to be an F vector, and the X is 0 and the Y is 0, and then we just get the jump vertical velocity. Then what we need to do is actually have the character go up in the air, and how you do that is you do the launch character with the combined velocity. So just do launch character with the combined velocity, and we just do launch character, and we do jump velocity, and somehow I got a K in there. So we just do a jump velocity, and then it needs to be true and true. That's going to be the XY override and the BZ override. So right here, set a pending launch velocity on the character. This velocity will be processed on the next character movement component tick. So this just launches the character in the air. So now that we have the jump function created, what we need to do is we need to bind the action, and we can bind the action just by going down here and then binding the jump. So I'm just going to copy that, and then we're just going to go ahead and say jump action. In the jump action, it's going to be triggered, and it's going to be this object, a Paladin character. Instead of look, it's going to be jump, because it's the jump function we just added. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up into the constructor, because I want to have some code run. I want to have some code run before everything, so when the character gets created, what I'm going to do is just come down here, and I'm just going to have a comment that says jump settings. And what we want to do is get character movement, and we want to get the jump Z velocity, and I just want to set that to 300. And then we do get character movement, and I want to set the air control. So we set the air control, and it's just going to be a real low number, 0.1. And all of that should work. So what we can do is we can go back to the editor, and let's see if a hot reload will work. So you just come down here and you click that button down at the bottom, and the one that says compiling C++ code. It's outside of the window that I'm recording. And it should come. There we go. So it compiled, but it's not going to work until we come in here and we add jump action. Now, if jump action is not there, just go ahead and close out the blueprint and reopen it. More than likely it will be here. And then just do jump IA, do compile, save, and run the test. Click inside the window, and you can see we're jumping. And you can play around with some of the jump numbers. If you go into your Paladin character blueprint, under details, your details more than likely will be over here on the right. What I did was I just grabbed the tab, and instead of putting it over here on the right, I just put it right over here. Or you can detach it from the window directly, but I just put it right over here because I've got a real wide screen. So when I'm clicking on stuff like this, I like having it right underneath instead of looking all the way to the right. But what you can do is go to the details and then just type in jump. And this right here, jump Z velocity, and then braking, air control, how much control you have in the air, things like that. You can set all of this. So let's say we set this to like 800. And you hit enter, then you compile and you save. You run the test map again, and you come in here and you jump. Now you can see how high we really jump. And you can just go around and play with the numbers and see what you want for the jump Z velocity. And also what's going to matter is the gravity scale. Custom gravity scale. Gravity is multiplied by this amount of the character. So it depends on, of course, enable gravity. It depends on the gravity scale. If you set that, that's going to modify it as well. So that is all I have. That's how we got jumping working. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.